Alright my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and I know for many of you out there watching this video, including myself, we all have builds in this game that we use non-stop and it's just kind of our go-to build, you know what I mean? Now for me it happens to be a 4-piece striker, Fenris on the chest with Obliterate as the talent. I'm running with either Coyote's Mask or the Catharsis, and I'm using St. Elmo's engine, and the problem is that you can use that build in so many different ways, it's really tough to put down. However, since the introduction of the Tipping Scales gear set, I find myself leaning more and more into using LMGs. I mean, there's so many different builds you can put together based around it. So today, my friends, we're going to take a brief moment, go over a Pestilence Tipping Scales build that I absolutely love to use. Now, as always, we're going to jump right into the details, and if you happen to enjoy this, do me a favor and hit that like button. It truly helps the channel out, and if you want to stay up to speed on all things Division, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button as well. Now, starting with the specialization, you can see I'm using Gunner, doing that for the typical reasons. You get some extra armor on kill, a reload speed increase, but the primary reason is because I love to use the Banshee Pulse. It is easily one of my favorite skills in the game. And always remember, regardless of the specialization you choose, have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which one you're using. Now, in full transparency, I never put the Pestilence down when it comes to this build. You can see it has the talent Plague of the Outcast. Hits applied to buff dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds. This is going to stack up to 50 times. Whenever an enemy dies with this debuff, 100% of the stacks are transferred to a nearby enemy within 25 meters. So once you get used to using this weapon, you're just deleting things left and right. And the reason I make that comment is because when it comes to certain weapons and gear sets and their combination, there's a bit of a learning curve sometimes. You can easily jump into a new build and say, this, I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to go back to my old one. But I got to tell you, my fellow agents, and this is coming from someone who used to run the same damn thing non-stop, when you actually branch out and try different things, it's so much fun. Anyway, getting back to the actual gear itself, you can see we're running 3 tipping scales, 1 Walker and Harris, 1 Petrov, and the Ninja Bike backpack, which is what we're starting with. Now the reason we're running this is because of its talent Resourceful, slots in with any equipped gear set and or brand set item to fulfill a requirement towards unlocking a gear set's bonus. And that simply means even though we're only wearing 3 pieces of the tipping scales gear set, we do get that 4-piece bonus, which is what we're targeting. You can see a 2-piece is 30% magazine size, 3 pieces 30% LMG damage, 4 pieces throttle control. And with that talent, shooting build stacks to a max of 50. Each stack is going to provide 0.5% weapon handling and 4% crit hit damage as well. You lose 6 stacks per second when not shooting, but no stacks are lost if an enemy is suppressed. Next we have the body armor. It's the 1 piece of Walker and Harris, but again, because of the Ninja Bike, we do get 2 brand set bonuses. That is going to be 5% weapon damage and 5% damage to armor. You can also see I'm using the talent Obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. That is going to stack up to 20 times. Another great option is the talent Glass Cannon. That is incredibly powerful and incredibly popular as well. But again, it takes a bit of a learning curve because you're putting out more damage, but you're also taking more damage as well. So again, you do have a lot of different options, my friends. Next, we have the holster and the knee pads. They are the 2 final pieces of the Tipping Scales gear set. Last but not least, we have the gloves. It's the 1 piece of Petrov, but again, because of the Ninja Bike, we do get 2 brand set bonuses. That is going to be 10% LMG damage and 15% weapon handling. We also have the middle attribute, 8% damage to armor. As far as my skills are concerned for this version of the build, I'm running with the Banshee Pulse and the Reviver Hive, but you can use anything you want. I'd also like to mention the fact that when it comes to the gameplay footage you are about to see, there are no modifiers running whatsoever. And the reason for that is I want to ensure that whenever you see this, you know exactly what the build can do without any special events going on. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and some final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope everyone is having a great weekend so far. What are your plans this weekend? Let me know. Now, one of the many things you hear me mention in every single build video I post is I always remind you that this is just a template. You want to take your time, make a build your own. And when I say that, I'm referencing the fact that you may want more armor, you may want more weapon damage, you may want to put, protection from elite mods on the thing. It's totally up to you. But the one thing you always have to focus on is making sure that your playstyle is actually catered towards the build that you're using. So to give you a quick example, if you're running Hunter's Fury, which is all about run and gun, you're close to NPC, you're not going to be firing halfway across the map, because if you're doing that, you're not getting the benefits from the gear set. I mean, another great example is, let's say you're using the Memento backpack, but you're not actually running around picking up the trophies. Then why the hell are you wearing the backpack, you know? So anyway, as I said earlier, I know for a lot of players out there, you find yourself that one build and it's very hard to step away from. But I'm telling you, like I mentioned before, once you get an idea for how different builds work and you see how their synergy works in certain situations, you're gonna have a lot of different builds you can use, my friends, and I hope this video helps you out. Finally, today I want to mention the fact that I have been receiving your messages in regard to different build breakdowns. I'm in the process of actually getting to them for the first time in a long time. The last 5-6 months have been absolutely brutal for me, but thankfully I'm doing much better health-wise. A bunch of different, going on. But again, we are good now, my fellow agents. We're back at it. That is going to do it for my part, my friends. Thank you once again for everything, and I will see you in the next one.
Hostiles guarding location nearby.
You just want to be close to me?
Vital signs critical. Detected. Civilians in danger. Reinforcements en route.
Gotcha!
Heavily armored hostile detected. Civilians in distress. Detected. Nearby location guarded by hostiles.
Agent, Judiciary Square is under attack.
Supply room access unlocked.